Same error as last time? Fuck. I'm trying to fix it.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I was letting Max out and then feeding
it's
and
back?
giving them new water.
Sweet.
What's back?
The second you left, my stream just broke.
Really? What happened to it?
I don't know. Yeah, Kornobi said it's the same error as last time, and I pulled up my stream, and it did, like, the no connection thing, and it was...
Maybe I'm your
whatever.
saving grace. It just came back as soon as I got back.
Wait,
and
ew!
It went down
It did-
as I
wait,
left.
ew, it did! Wait!
And it went down as soon as I left.
Oh, wait.
You guys just couldn't handle the stream without me.
Oh my god. Konobi, did you see that I went in an incredibly large circle? Like, literally. Oh, okay. 12, right? 12, 22, and 3,200. Yeah. Wait. Let's go to this way first, right? Yeah, let's get to 3,000 first. Chicken. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Ooh, grave. Who goes there? Sorry. Boiling Mayo. I love that. I love that name. Hi! Boiling Mayo. I love your name. It's great. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, nope, I've been here. No, 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 no. If we see a grave, we rob it. Okay? It's fine.
Oh my god.
That couldn't have possibly been correlated to the— Ooh,
He literally was sitting outside of a bar having a panic attack because she failed this exam she really studied hard for, and he came out and then the paparazzi took a bunch of pictures of them and now they're on the news.
So, Boiling Mayo, welcome to the stream. What the fuck? Since you don't know any of the backstory to what the hell Carly just said, they've been reading an atrocious book and just—
It's not atrocious!
It's atrocious!
You don't know what's going on in it, and therefore you call it atrocious. It's actually not that bad.
There we go, now they can't hear me roasting the story. It's horrible in many different ways, and if you don't boil your mayo before you eat it out of the jar, then it's unsanitary. I haven't had mayo in, like, forever, to be honest. What was I saying? You've completely lost— it's not a question. What's not a question? I'm so confused. What was I saying? I was literally in the middle of my sentence and my brain fucking died. Oh yeah, they're reading a story. They're on like the 3rd book of the series, so they're randomly just gonna be popping in and saying whatever the fuck's going on in the story, and it's normally gonna be something stupid like he slept with his girlfriend's stepmom and got her pregnant and then killed her. I don't know. Anyway, I'm unmuting. I'm done roasting your book. I got a message. Never mind. I don't care. Where was I going? I was going to 322. No, no. No, not Umbrella Academy. It's not that funny. It's not that funny. Why did I laugh so hard? It wasn't that funny. That's a raccoon. Oh my. Sorry. Oh my god. I watched the first episodes, but I hated it, so I don't understand the joke. It was I don't Carly, have you seen Umbrella Academy?
Yeah, but I'm gonna be completely honest. Every single time I've tried to watch it or rewatch it, as soon as I finished the whatever season, I just did not
Completely
remember
forget
what I just
everything.
watched at all. Like, it seemed like it didn't feel real. This feels like a podcast because I'm sitting here, like, with a mic right next to my face and my headphones on in my bed.
And you're not playing anything, you're just- Wait, you're in your bed? Wait, are we on your phone,
Yeah.
or you just have your earbuds pulled all the
No,
way
I
from your
have.
desk?
They're all the way from my desk, and I
Oh
just
my
turned my
God.
mic stand around.
Oh, how's it been? Has it fallen off a lot? Carly?
What?
Has it fallen off a lot?
No, it hasn't fallen off at all, actually.
Really?
No. You and my mom did something good.
We're just impeccable. What you're describing sounds exactly like it, especially that random event you described.
Yeah, there were a lot of random events, and I just didn't understand. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I liked the season 2 plotline where they all went to different times. I thought that was kind of interesting, but I never understood anything from season 2 because I didn't remember anything from the previous episode. Ever. Like, I'd finish an episode and go right into the other one, and I just didn't remember what I was watching.
You know what? I'm just Okay, that is true. You don't need any more context to that. You don't need any more context to that boiling mail. That's all you get. Because if you get more context, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole, and it's just. Why is that pink? Hello. Hi. You're on book 3, right?
2.
Oh, still 2?
There are
How large are these books?
72 parts in this book, and there's about maybe 3,000 to 4,000 words in each chapter. I only started it like 2 hours, or like 4 hours ago. No, 3 hours ago.
And all that happened in just book 2.
Yes. Well, some of it was from book 1, but the majority of what I told you was book 2.
What? That's not... Okay.
I'm on, to be fair, I am on 33, but I have been reading for like an hour, for like 30 minutes. So I have probably read about 10 chapters.
I've been here only a few minutes. This stream is amazing. Yeah.
Oh my god, have they not heard the book plotline?
Oh, no! No! No, we're not going back through the book plotline. We're not going back through it. No.
I can sum it up quickly, though.
No, no.
Donald Trump with a different name is setting his son up to date someone, but his son actually likes them. That's the plot. That's literally the plot. Except she has a really, really bad eating disorder and 2 gay dads. That's not bad, though. I'm not saying that her gay dads are bad. I promise I love them. I mean, their names are Izzy and Ozzy, okay? I don't love them, but it's not because they're gay. I'm done, relax. Jesus Christ. He actually likes her though. He finally admitted that he liked her. Oh, my family's home.
What?
Hold on, let me...
If you understood any of that through my groaning, props to you. Because I back to exploration
I'm back. My parents might come here.
What is that? Why? Ooh, what is this? I like how two gay dads is an important part of the plot line. I mean, I don't I couldn't fucking tell you, dude. I've literally toned out a majority of the story after I hear, like, forced abortion, killed herself over, I don't even know, dude. It was way too much, and I just stopped. I toned it all out. Set up marriage. Oh. This is great. Stream started off nice, you know, loading up my modded world, you know, going and exploring, trying to find a place to build a house.
And then I came.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty fucking much. That's... Yep. I've been streaming for 2 hours and I still haven't found a place to build my house. This entire time I've just been running around. And the guy that made someone pregnant and killed her after, yep, that also happened.
Wait, in what story?
It's your book! You're the one that's been telling
it. Nobody killed anybody.
Okay, then I don't...
She might have killed a baby, but we don't know. It what? No. Not like that. Not in the way that you guys are thinking. I'm talking about getting an abortion, not physically killing a baby. In a video game. In a video game. This is all a video game, guys. This is not real.
The Minecraft role-playing.
It's the new season of the Umbrella Academy, guys. No, I take it back. It's the new season of the Stranger Things.
What? Who's the gay dads in Stranger Things?
Oh my god, he's talking to his dad right now about it.
Not physically killing a baby. Ah, yes, as opposed to mentally, of course. What is this? Wait, I'm crying. There are tears in my eyes.
He's still being rude.
Donald Trump? Who's being rude? Donald Trump or Donald Trump's son?
Donald Trump's son. He likes her, right? He really does like her.
Yeah.
But he went to his dad and told his dad to screw off. He was like, I'm not doing this for you. I like her. Like, I'm not breaking up with her after the election's over. And his dad goes, but you're still gonna give us her information, right? And he goes, some of it. Like, hello?
Okay. I didn't get any of that. Actually. Who the fuck put Donald in their story? It's not actually Donald Trump, but it basically is Donald Trump.
Okay. The character is literally Donald Trump with a different name, but they're running for vice president instead. It's to give a little conflict in the story. It's not because the author... Well, I hope the author doesn't support that because they posted a lot of articles against him. AKA Per Queen, Slay, Pussy Queen. Oh my god, there's a new movie coming out on Disney Plus.
Okay, what?
It's called Turning Red.
That
Oh.
that trailer came out like a year ago.
No, okay, well, it's coming out on March 11th. May tries to balance friends, family, and an uncontrollable ability to poof into a giant red panda.
Yup. Oh, I found
That
another
sounds like the
graveyard. Time to
stupidest thing I've
steal from
ever
people's dead
heard.
bodies.
That sounds like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I never finished watching Descendants 3 for the third time.
No.
I was just making an observation.
We've had enough Descendants.
Well, obviously, none of the I haven't talked about it once on this stream.
Yes, but you've talked about it to me.
I mean, I did hum the beginning of the song earlier and you decided to finish it, and I think that says something.
Yes, because you're gonna bring up unwanted memories.
Oh.
The third time? Yeah, the third time this week, right?
It was last
Actually,
weekend.
no, it was, yeah.
It was this weekend that just passed by.
Yeah.
Why did
Third
okay,
time.
I'm not gonna. That would be really embarrassing if I just read what popped up on my thing, but
What?
I'm not going to. Nothing. Never mind. Don't believe it. Don't believe what you guys hear, guys. Seriously, it's all fake.
Don't believe
I'm not
anything on the internet. I'm not
I'm
even
not even real.
Right?
It was
Actually, no, it was, yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. I'm gonna pretend
Slay.
that didn't happen. I'm gonna
What
pretend that
didn't happen?
we both went and said we're not even real at the exact same time.
Did we really?
Yes.
Look at us.
So, y'all ever hear of a game called Minecraft?
Is the bowling mango guy still here? He is.
Yeah. Boiling mayo. What did you
No,
say?
no,
Boinging
stop.
mango?
Kenobi, don't say that. Don't say that. That's not true. That didn't happen.
No. Okay, so
happen.
Carly's dog walked in and
He was on my bed, and he has this really bad habit of going onto my white sheets and my bed and licking his butthole. And I was trying to tell them and express them my feelings about it, and I accidentally said
Godbird.
mine. I accidentally said mine, my butthole instead of his.
Yeah, she
It was
said
an accident.
her dog's name is Max, and they said, "Oh, I just started a raid."
What?
I just started.
How?
Anyway, their dog's name is Max, and they went, "Max, stop licking my butthole." What?
It was an accident.
That whale is fucking everywhere. Jesus. I mean, I like
I
mangoes, and I enjoy bowling.
I didn't mean to mispronounce your name.
That's gonna be
I
your.
never saw the spelling.
That's your second account. Make a second Twitch account called Boiling Mango.
No, don't.
Just
Well,
because,
actually,
just because of this.
Do it, get famous, and then credit me for the name.
Oh,
I mean, that
yeah.
sounds like the best option.
Is
that
100%. Where am I going again? 3222.
I like how the only two tags you have are LGBTQ plus A and neurodivergent.
Really?
You're really pulling out the full stops here.
Yeah, that's the only. My friend is Floppy Mango.
Wait, did I call him Bowling Mangoes when his name is Boiling Mayo?
Yep.
Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
You just processed what you said?
Wait, no, I still thought it was mangoes. I didn't realize it was mayo until he said
Neptune.
my
Hi.
friend's name.
Absolutely brilliant. Oh, hell yeah. Welcome to whatever the fuck this is.
I don't know what the brilliance they're talking about. Like, I hope they're not talking about the dog story.
I hope they are talking about the dog story.
No, that's really embarrassing for me. I'm never literally ever gonna live that down.
There's plenty of other embarrassing things I could bring up right now. Why is Nyvac here? Why are you here? Where did you come from?
Who?
Nyvac.
Nyvac's here?
What did you do for that avatar? It's moving. what is it called? Wait. It's
Nivek
boiling
needs
a
to
cream
seriously
brulee.
leave. He makes me mad. He decides to message me after like 2 months telling me to get wrecked.
That. Wait, what? He messaged you what?
I told you this earlier. You told me he got his name, right? You
Yeah,
know, on Minecraft.
he got
Well, I
Nyvac
haven't
instead of
messaged him
NLvac.
since like November 7th, right? And it was him sending
The
me this
creme.
weird picture of a cat, and he responded on February 21st to a message from a while ago
Oh my god.
saying,
Am I even going the right direction? I'm
saying
not.
get
I'm going
wrecked.
backwards. Why is everyone suddenly talking? I don't know. I'm not. I stopped questioning it. I mean, I make creme
What?
brulee sometimes. Might as well boil it.
Oh my god. Creme brulee.
You never know until you try. It could be the
I
most
tried it
delicious
once.
thing.
I tried it once and it was really disgusting.
A
I'm gonna be
boiled
completely
creme.
honest.
A boiled one or just one in general?
No, one in general.
I don't have all the attention anymore. Don't boil a creme brulee. Why not? What? You know, technically, there's nothing stopping you. You could do
No,
it.
but creme brulee's already gross in themselves. Like, I could not imagine seeing it sizzle in water. Could you imagine just like a big floppy piece of pudding just in water? Like, that seems so gross. What's everybody's
Okay.
food that when they hear it, it makes them want to throw up? Mine is cauliflower.
Food that when I hear makes me want to throw up. Grave
Kenobi,
house.
Kenobi, don't say that, please. Don't ask to boil a baby.
You can in Sims. Not in Sims 4. You can't anymore and it
Sims
makes me
2.
depressed. Only Sims 2. I thought you could do it in Sims 3 too.
Actually, you can put the baby on the grill. I should do that. I should have my girl be like the hooker of the town, and if she ever has kids, she just burns them on the grill.
I wonder if there's a mod that you can add to The Sims 4 to boil babies. Baby
You
stew?
probably could.
Yes, baby stew. That'll be a new Sims recipe. It'll come out with the wedding update.
I'll be back.
Baby stew will come out with the wedding update. Delicious. Why would you burn it? Just cook it normally? Why not? Okay, and how would you cook a baby normally? Please elaborate on that for me. Please elaborate on that for me, Nyback. I would like to hear more. Are you the one I sent the link to? I don't know what that means. Well, don't burn it. I need more elaboration on that. Jesus, why did that scare me? That's embarrassing. Ooh, you guys want to see the really morbid basement? Oh, come on, let's look at the lady's torture chamber. Ignore the bat. There's a torture chamber down here. Hey, he's the one that brought it up. Torture chamber! Torture chamber! Oh? Oh? I shared the stream with someone, basically. Oh my god. I feel incredibly special. Automod sucks. You boil it. Don't give specific details. Why? You burn it how you would a pizza. Okay. I'm about to ban Automod, I swear to
My
God.
mom said she was going to unmute me and decide that that meant she was going to leave.
What?
She tried to unmute me and left on accident.
Oh, she left the call. That's what that was. Okay. Can I unmod Automod because it's annoying the living shit out of me? Is that a thing? Can I do that? Ban it now. No more mods. It's all gone. It's all gone. No mods. What are mods? I don't know what they are. Pet the mods. Never heard of that emote. How do I... How... All of my recommended channels are playing Roblox.
Okay, actually serve though. Roblox I love it. I have this video of this Roblox guy doing a really funny dance and it cracks me up and me and my friend up every time that we watch it.
What?
It's a really This is the audio. It's a really funny Roblox video. I
Okay.
literally love it so much. It cracks me up.
Why won't it let me turn off auto mod?
Lexi.
Let me turn it off.
Oh, I have videos to show you tomorrow that I think you're gonna love.
That scares me.
Why?
I'm getting flashbacks to when I was half awake and you were forcing me to watch videos of this girl who would shove a camera in her boyfriend's face and you were like, look, it's funny, and I was just sitting there miserably trying to go the fuck to sleep.
That was in Florida. You can't hold that against me.
I will hold that against you. It was terrifying.
You laughed at them.
At first, but then you kept showing them over and over and over again. How do I get out of here? Help.
Over and over again.
Help. Help.
Okay, well, it's only
Help.
3 videos, and
Help.
one of them is a Roblox video.
Help. 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 It's okay. It's okay, Neptune. It's okay. Thank you. It's okay. It's okay. Didn't we watch TikToks on your... Yeah, we did do that. Weren't we in a Discord call, like, forever ago, watching TikToks with Nivak and Snorton? Alright. I love that answer. Thank you. Why won't it let me turn off auto mod? Please. There we go. I think I did it. If I didn't, oh well. I tried. Boom, 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 boom. I got a headache from that. What headache? What did I say? What? There's more people. Where are you people coming from? Oh, it's Neptune. Okay.
Ew, this guy just fucking...
Thank you.
The main character's love interest had this thing called Maddie mentality because his name was Maddie, but everybody hated it because it was really cringy.
Don't do
And
that.
the coach just said that the guy needed to just start a Blake blueprint.
A what? Oh, Jesus. Say bad words, guys. No, let's not do that. Actually, yeah, that'll be funny. Do it. TikTok, Fortnite. That's your version of bad words. TikTok and Fortnite. Okay. Okay.
Clow!
Okay.
Night! Clow!
Okay.
Okay. Have you seen that girl on TikTok?
No.
Who goes, Clow? Really?
Graves! Ooh, pretty house. Wait, Graves or pretty house? Carly, Graves or pretty house?
Let me see the pretty house real quick on your stream.
It's actually not that pretty now that I'm looking at it.
Let me see the pretty house.
Oh well.
Just go to both. Why can't you go to both?
Well, which one first? They're
The
two
pretty
different
house.
Okay, thank you. I'm very indecisive.
No,
I'm still
okay,
not over the
here's what
fact that Nivak just fucking popped up out of God knows where.
Here's what you have to do. You know the number system that me and you have?
Yeah, 1
Well,
versus
as
2.
soon as you say 1 or 2 and you assign which one you want to do, your brain should automatically choose which one you want to win.
Yeah, but you always pick 2, so I can't do it with you anymore.
No, but seriously though, no, my thing is what I've noticed is that when I start asking you 1 or 2, my brain will start saying, oh, I really hope she picks 1 or I really hope she picks 2. And that's my cue to just go with that one no matter what. Does your brain do that? Like when you say Graves or
Sometimes.
pretty house and I say let me answer?
Hearing from the abyss, honestly.
I know, where did he come from?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, wait, is my Twitch connected to my Discord? That might be it. I think it is. I'm gonna go with that. Just gotta wait an eternity until he finally oh wait, these people are deeper. I'm gonna pretend I didn't say any of that sentence. Ari, who are you? Neptune? Friends. Neptune, I think, is friends to, Boiling Mayo. I'm pretty sure. If not, then I'm sorry. Ari, it's not. What's not? You're following me? What, did you just go on Twitch and then see I was live? I'm just a person. You're harassing poor Neptune. What do they do to you? No, I got a notif on my phone. Oh my gosh, you have notifications? What's the... Now we enemies. Oh. Shit. Alright. My bad. Fuck. Take it back. Frenemies. I'm Boiling Mayo's friend. Yeah, I was right. Where was I going? I literally forget every 2 seconds. Where am I going? No. No. This way. Okay. I just saw you play the Stay True mod back and I joined. Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're about to do stuff.
Why is there just a random fucking fishing rod? Who's doing stuff?
Oh, you're kidding. Oh my god, you're kidding. This is so... Oh my god.
Are you talking about the Wattpad story?
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh, doing stuff. Oh. I don't. Straight people scare me. Why is your resolution like that? It's bothering me. Because, I exist just to annoy you. Harvest moon rises. Your crop provide a better harvest. What the fuck is that? I don't know what that means. Wattpad, you said- Oh god, no, no, don't bring it up. Don't ask. Neptune, don't ask. Please. Please. Just let it pass through. It's fine. We're moving on. No more- let's talk about how Nivak is, being very picky. Yep. That's the conversation. That's the conversation top. Oh. Nivak's just getting fucking roasted.
By who? The people in chat?
No, I'm gonna stare at it until it changes. Neptune, you're a great person. You're great. I like you.
Are the people in chat insulting Nivak?
Nivak is being annoying and saying, why is your resolution like that? And Neptune was like, okay, then just leave. And then Kenobi just goes, who's Nivak?
Oh my god. This poor man is getting desolated.
It's okay, it's funny. He probably deserves it at one point in his life. I'm just getting Stone Age?
God. Should we invite Nivak on our adventures tomorrow? Are we gonna drive to wherever the hell he lives?
I am not.
I'm sure he would love to experience that if that person is actually there.
I don't even remember what state he lives in.
I'm pretty sure it's like Wyoming or some shit. Maybe Wisconsin? It's something really stupid.
Hear me out. Deep fried, then steamed creme brulee.
No, I'm not hearing it out.
Deep fried and then steamed. Wisconsin, yes, it's stupid. I'm not driving to Wisconsin. No way. I don't know how many hours that is, but it's not enough. I mean, it's too much. Wait. Anyway, just gotta make people vanish. Where am I going? What is my goal? I keep fucking forgetting. Oh, I'm going to these coordinates. 1244. Where's 12? 12. I'd drive your way if Jake was there. Okay, well, I don't care. Just put a torch on the creme brulee. Wait. Yeah, it's this way. The land of dairy. What's the state that really likes peaches? Is it Georgia? I don't know. Doesn't every state just have like a random fruit or vegetable that they're obsessed with? And then there's one state that just loves cheese. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore me, because I've already lost... What? All of Canada is syrup. All of Canada is syrup. Wisconsin loves cheese. Okay. Hello? Get out of me. I gotta head out, see ya. Leave while you can, Mayo. Bye-bye. What? Oh my god. Why do states have random things that they are just obsessed with? Is it like a trade thing? Or are they just use a flamethrower on a creme brulee? Okay. So, there's grilled creme brulee. There's boiled. There's boiled and then steamed. And then there's flamethrow. What the fuck was that lump? How long will you be playing this mod pack? I have no clue. That's a frog? That is not a frog. You... Why is it so flat? Why? I'm just... What? There's more! No. I don't... I'm gonna have nightmares from that. Oh my god. It's gonna appear in my nightmares like the fucking blobfish. I genuinely had nightmares of the blobfish when I was little. Did you know that?
No.
I had genuine fears of blobfish. For some reason, my brain had the same effect as Momo. The frog, as most of the world, is on drugs. That would probably be pretty decent. What's wrong with this cute animal? Oh no, my Minecraft's gone. Shit. It's dying again. Oh no. Wi-Fi's fine, but Minecraft is. Oh wait. Are we good again? No, we're not. You I did! What is wrong with my resolution, Nivek? Please. You know what? Can I turn it down while I'm streaming just to piss you off?
Oh my god.
Am I able to do that?
Don't do that, please.
Wait. I want to see. Wait.
This girl in this book barely does not even know the simple terms in French, and it's pissing me off, but I am in French 3, so I guess I should know that.
Say all of that again, please, because
This girl, the guy in the book is speaking French, and she doesn't know simple words that I thought everybody knew, but then I realized that I am in French 3, so that might be why I know them. What?
Neptune's just yelling at him again.
Oh my god.
A rat, some might... A pest. A rat, some might... Oh my god. Neptune, if it helps, he is... Would I say he's my friend? He's not a random person. I have known him.
Nyvac?
Yeah.
We've known Nyvac since
Saying you're a rat would be a compliment.
a little bit before summer started. No, since
Probably
summer
like
started.
June, maybe? I don't know.
Probably.
Why are your graphics in fast? I don't know.
Don't
Wait.
listen to Nyvac, dude. All of his settings are probably in it so he can beat people in duels. Or try to god bridge and suck
Yeah,
at it.
Nyvac, didn't you literally delete important shit off of your computer just so you could have 1,000 FPS on Minecraft?
Nyvac, I still also have that video of Nyvac, screaming at us in his mic. Then me and
You should send it to me just so I can play it and then never show it again. Yes,
maybe.
but now I get better what? Better nothing. Why are the chests empty? Was I here before?
He definitely is not getting any better at the duels.
What did that raccoon do to you? Oh my... What? Wait, why can I... Why is it... Wait, why does my sword go like that when I right-click it? Not all 1,000 FPS on Minecraft. All games. Yeah, can you die, please? Anyway. I'm still not over this saying you're a rat would be a compliment. It was because I have bad GPU. Excuses, excuses. Excuses, schmoosh. Wait. No, shit. Wait. I'm farther away from the 3,000. No. Like, don't get me wrong, Minecraft is cool, but don't destroy. Okay. That's why your stream like. Why is my stream like. What? Wrong direct. Wait. I'm smart. Hi, raccoon. Here's a carrot. Oh, so cute. It didn't, just had no antivirus. I don't... Neptune, just ignore him. It's fine. Literally just...
Damn! This girl just told him they're at a foster home the main character funds, and there's this girl there with cystic fibrosis or whatever, and she went, right now I'm getting treatment, but it's truly going to suck in a few months when I lose my healthcare when your dad gets into office, won't it? Talking about
Huh?
the Trump guy. So he's at this place, right? And this kid walked in and was like, um, they're at a foster care place, like for kids who need a house or whatever. And this is like a good one. The main character is funding it because her parents are rich, so they give her money, and she's giving the money that they give her, she puts it towards helping them. And she's there with Donald Trump's fakie's son, right?
Yeah.
And the girl, they were talking about the babies, and the main character was like, the babies will go quick though, people like to adopt them. And one of the older girls walked in and went, yeah, but they'll refuse to adopt me. And the main character was like, don't say that. And she was like, nobody wants a sick kid. And the like love interest looked at her weird, like, why is she saying that? And she was like, oh, I have cystic fibrosis. It sucks that once your dad gets into office, he's gonna take away my health care, doesn't it? She completely
Oh,
flamed that
Jesus
man.
fucking... Alright, what what literally just disappear. You're like a mosquito, small and rather irritating. I'm actually quite a bit bigger than a mosquito. Dude, my bicep is bigger than your head. Shut up. Doubtful. Getting full-on Wattpad descriptions right now is great.
Oh, I could give them the full thing, but I don't
No,
think I'm
no,
allowed to.
please, please.
I'm not allowed to.
Please. Biceps small AF. Where am I going? Where? I am so lost. Mentally and in the game. I'm... Ooh, grave. I almost went into the grave. I gotta go for a bit. I might be back later. Alright. Thank you for roasting Nivak. It was very funny. How do you get lost with a minimap?
Please
Shut
do
the
it again.
fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Please do it again! What? Neptune roasting Nivak?
Yeah.
How do you get lost? I don't know where I'm going. I keep forgetting. Why did I say it like that? Forgetting? I have the memory of a brick. I have the brain of a brick. Oh! Don't punch yaks. They hurt. Goodbye. How do you get lost with a forgetting? Is this a mesa? I have not seen a mesa in Minecraft frickin' forever. Is that that is a whole ass lobster. Do you bite? Or no? Okay. I'm about to give up. It's a whole ass kangaroo. Hello. Will you box me if I punch you?
What?
Oh! Oh! They will! They will! They will! They will! They will! They will punch. They will punch. They will punch. Oh, it's fine. We do a little trolling and counter a kangaroo. You seen the lobster TikToks where they do lobsters to chop? No. No, I haven't. What the fuck was that? What is that? What is that? Ugh! Tarantula hawk. Oh, fuck that. No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. 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 Mm-mm. Imagine doing TNT tag. You'd literally play TNT tag with me. Hush. What if I live here? I'm incredibly indecisive. How do I look at the minimap again? Okay, wait. Can I, like, look at a full map or something? Is that... How do I enlarge? How? What? My... M. Fuck. Oh! Oh, it worked. I want to zoom out and see what my path looks like. Why did I turn around so much? Latest death. Okay. We ain't got the time. Tell you, baby, I don't think I'm doing fine. Okay, we're back to calming down mode. I'm fine with that.
Now he's saying he's gonna buy her a plan B. But wasn't he the same one bashing her for it?
What
Oh,
about
sucks.
Plan B?
He's saying he's gonna buy her one now, but he was really mad at her when she had to get one the first time.
Click and drag for to wait. I don't. Oh, okay. What the fuck was that? Ooh. Perfect. Jesus. I'm trying to get like a general understanding of the area. And it's not really going that well. What the fuck is that? That is, what is, that is, what? Ooh, diamond, diamond, diamond. Yeah. Ow. Shit. Fuck. Ow. Ugh. Understanding the area is overrated. Destruction is the way to live. What do you, what is, what? Make full diamond. Oh. Just fucking Christ. Oh. I did not like that. Scared the fuck out of me. What? Jeez. Creepy bitch. Can I just steal this as my house? Is that— ooh, steak. Oh. Ooh. 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 I don't need pork. Okay, what? Make full diamond armor. Oh, I have plenty of diamonds to do that, actually. Shit. What the f— Sorry. What do I have? I just need— oh wait, those are netherite boots? What the f— hold on. Oops. Wasted that. Oh well. Where did my music go? Why is there no music? Hello? Hello?
What?
My music is dead.
Oh.
And I don't like that. Oh, there we go. Music quit on life. Jeez, what are you... Chat too bright when hand cam. I am never doing a hand cam. Ever. I would rather die. Wait. Wait. Okay, never mind. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. It's fine. If I crash, oh well. It's okay. See? Why the fuck is... See, now that's a frog. At least that looks slightly like a frog. The other one, but wait, there's more. What? What did you say? When facecam? I don't know. Whenever I feel like it. I just kicked my fucking desk. It's fine. Can you load, please?
Oh my god. Her ex-boyfriend told his new girlfriend about her eating disorder.
What?
Yeah. He's gonna kill him.
And of course you say that right as we literally give an example of what Neptune was. This entire stream is just a series of, but wait, there's more going on, and immediately you're... The Wattpad story summaries are great. The summaries are great. The stories themselves make me want to... I cannot fully express what I want to say on Twitch. What am I doing? I have never been on there. I don't... What? Wattpad? Good.
I love it.
No.
Let's go look at my screen time.
No. From today or just on Wattpad?
A week.
What?
This week, I've been on TikTok for 16 hours and 49 minutes.
Okay.
And I've been
Great
on
start.
Wattpad. Oh, wait, never mind. It just updated. Oh, you're gonna hate this. This week, I've been on Wattpad for 19 hours and 25 minutes. The most was on Wednesday, and I hit 5 hours and 30 minutes. Or 5 hours and 3 minutes. And then TikTok comes in second with 18 hours and 24 minutes. Listen to the next one is literally a third of the amount of time, and it's YouTube with 6 hours and 57 minutes.
You amaze me. Every day.
Thank you.
Just more and more. And
Thank you.
No, I thought it's been over 6,000 seconds. Nightbot is back.
No.
No. No, Nightbot. Fuck off. Oh my Jesus God. Lord Almighty. 11.5 hours on TikTok for me. You know what? I'll look on mine. Let's see my screen time. That's in settings, right?
I'm really nervous.
For what?
So they're about to go talk to his parents again, but
Oh,
I think now that the love interest told his dad off and told him to go fuck himself because he really liked the girl, the dad's gonna be like, this whole plan was for you to get information, and then it's gonna be really, really, really bad.
you wanna know my hours on YouTube for this week?
Yeah.
29 hours and 42 minutes.
Oh. Wait, how many?
29 hours and
It's
42
over a
minutes.
full day. Well, I better keep reading because I want that.
This is YouTube! I don't use my screen time tracking. I don't either. I've like barely ever checked it, but the fact that Carly brought it up reminded me of it, and I was like, oh, I wonder what mine is. Why is your... What the actual fuck? Why is your tag's adventure game? Huh? Oh, I can't get rid of it. It's locked because Twitch automatically puts you in adventure game because Minecraft is considered... Whatever. Anyway. Oh. Oh. Wait. Can I... Yeah, I can show that. Bow. 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 Okay, wait. Wait. Oh, ow, 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 ow. My hair got caught inside of my headset. That was not lovely. Why is Minecraft an MMO? It's a massive multiplayer online. Why wouldn't it be an MMO? Massive multiplayer online. What mic you using? What mic am I using? Fine microphone. That's all I got. Oh, what was I doing? Oh yeah, showing you my screen time. Of course you fucking had that. Oh, that's really big. Here's my screen time. And I've been working all week. What does that say about me? Oh well. Remove. Yep, I don't want that anymore. You're not bored of this mod pack? No. I'm just confused on what to do. What to do. That's a lot on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. I have great time management. Your headset finally broke? Were you trying to break your headset? This is the best song of all time. Oh, wait. That's not how that works. Ooh! It does the automatic falling thing. Okay. I don't think I want to build with birch. What does this look like? Okay. Ah! Loud. Scooby-Doo's over now. No more Scooby-Doo. Now it's whatever the fuck this is. That's okay. Okay. I only did 3 hours of YouTube this week. Well, I have issues. I wonder what happens. What happens if I block night? What if I block it from... What if I ban it? Can I ban Nightbot? Is that morally wrong? Is it morally wrong to ban Nightbot? Do I care about morals?
No.
I can't tell if this is peer pressure or me being just fucking stupid.
Can you get your cooch pierced?
What?
Can you get your down there pierced? I know men can.
What? Yes?
You can!
You can, yeah.
On your...
Where did this thought process come from?
I was just not considering it. I was, no, stop. Don't give me a second on how I wanna, I was reading and it said navel piercing and I didn't know where that was.
Okay, yeah.
So I was looking at it.
I'm... Okay. Okay. Play TNT tag. I want to figure out what blocks I want to build with first. I need to at least accomplish one thing, and how long have I been streaming? This entire time I've just been trying to find a place to build. How long have I been streaming doing that? I'm so bored. Play Minecraft. Do something. You play TNT tag. There you go. You guys play TNT tag together. I've been streaming for 3 hours. Thank you. Okay. That is... I don't know what that says. I'm not playing a bad game. Then why did you suggest it? What? You are immensely confusing. Do your homework. Homework is for pussies.
Ew, 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 ew. Okay, I need to take a little break and I need to get that out of my sight right now.
You're disgusted by the Wattpad story? Jesus, what the fuck did you read?
She called him something.
Huh?
And it starts with a D and ends with a Y.
Duh. Dory.
D-A. D-A.
Day?
D-A and it ends in Y.
Dad.
Dad.
Oh, thank you, Kenobi. Thank you. I'm a fucking lesbian. Alright. I don't immediately... Just because they stream doesn't mean they owe you anything. They don't have to play what you want. Yes. Thank you, Neptune. Returning... You're amazing. You're great. You know what? Okay. I'm... Why are you listening to an audio from Frozen?
It's girls from my school being stupid fucking idiots.
I'm sorry? What? Following since
They're being
44 minutes
annoying.
ago. Imagine. What? Huh? What are you looking at how long people have followed me? Wait, did you just... Is that your comeback? Saying that they've only followed me for 44 minutes? Is that your comeback? Okay. Carly, do you want to play TNT tag? Or
Not
Bed
really.
Wars?
Not really.
Okay. Well, they brought up TNT tag and now I want to play it. I've given in.
Play it.
Anyway, no one saw that. Yeah, I do, but I also don't. It's over. Okay. Oh. Well, there goes that game. Does it just show a black screen now? Yeah. I don't have Fortnite. Why would I have Fortnite? Why would I have Fortnite? Hello, Quinobi.
I haven't shared Ava in a video for a while, so let's talk about what she did tonight. She arranged a girls' night for two of her close friends, their moms, and us. She created the menu, made
Oh, why do I have chat off? That's freaky.
so she could get all of the ingredients. She also arranged with
Fortnite, agreed. Agreed. No one can see what you said, but agreed. Oh, why is it all jacked like that? Why is it being like that? Good enough. Gee, why are you behind me? Hello. Bonding at its finest. Right click, transform, and fit. No. I'm gonna do it manually just to piss you off. Are you gonna play TNT tag with me, Quinobi? Oh wait. This is peak entertainment. What is this song? Why are there no words to it? Why is it just noises? Noises. Noi. I'm... My brain broke for a second, but it's fine. Oh. We aren't playing together? Okay. Sweet. Wait. What did- oh, he disappeared. What was I just doing? I was literally just doing something. What was I doing? I forgot already. My memory is so shit. Oh, I was fixing the song. Why? You know what? It's fine. We're going with it. It works. This entire stream is peak entertainment, let's be honest here. Fuck yeah. I will take that any day. Okay, that is way too much punching. Wait, can I make that jump? We're gonna pretend I didn't just walk off of that. And I'm gonna try that again. And succeed. Because it is a possible jump. And I didn't just make a fool of myself. Doing magic. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Wait, who tagged me? Boing pong?
I think I'm gonna go. I'm starting to get a headache.
Oh!
Love you.
I feel bad about that. I felt bad about I love you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I felt bad about that kill. I genuinely felt bad about that. Oh, okay. Hey! Flying? Who the fuck is flying? That is party chat. Who's flying? Is that even the right who's? Who's? Who? I don't know. You're just really laggy. Oh, Quinobi's fighting for his life. Try not to die. Let me join. No, you suck. Oh, Quinobi's dead. I said don't die. Why do I keep getting it? And why is this a raccoon wearing pucks? Oh wait, I have the tech TNT. I was like, I can click 30 CPS. That I don't care. Rip. Rip. The way to not die, just be bet. Okay. I don't... Just be better. Big brain. Big brain move. Just don't die. Problem fucking solved. Okay. What did you say? I can actually click 30 CPS. That's good for you. Oh, I don't know why I did that. My brain thought I was running on the bridge. Okay. Oh, I did. I didn't know that it was 1 second. I didn't see the time. Sorry. What do you have lunar chat filter? Probably. Wait. Yes, I do. I got muted on my main for 90 days for saying KYS. That was great. Thank you. I'm bowing, but you can't see it. Anyway. Why are you in the game? Why are you here? How did you get here? Why? Why? I like how the way I found out is because I happened to have hit you. Okay. I'm still mad at— oh. I'm still mad at Hypixel for removing free look. Oh, go away. Oh, it's— no, no, no. Oh, you fuck. Where's Nive? No, don't say hi to him. No. Don't acknowledge his existence. Where are you? What is your cape? Why are you wearing a girl skin? You know what? I'm not judging. Okay. Rhea. Stop. What does that mean? What does that mean? Stop flagging near me. What is that? What is... Okay. Oh, that person's cape is so cute. Wait. Wait. The... Wait, cloak? Cloak. Right? Is it a cloak or a cape? I'm saying cape. I'm in party chat. The magic of no logic. Yep. That sounds pretty fucking accurate to my entire life. I don't think that this is a very fair fight. I just have a feeling. You know? Just a hunch. Okay. No, Rhea blew up. How do you still have Lunar Plus? How do you get away with that? No, I can spectate you. Fun. I say that literally every game, like I don't know to what. I've been saying many things. I just keep interrupting myself. What are you? The other fault. Hmm? I don't know what that means either. Other guy. Can't type. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Sleeping with the lights on, no she's not there, but no, she's going to his bed. God, what the fuck? My brother just texted me saying the exact words, smash or pass, lick a tongue. What, why, why, I have many questions. Not, why would you okay. Well, I mean, tongue. No, 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 no. I'm not encouraging this. No. 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 Amazon wish list. I don't know. Yeah, I don't either. I just left them on red. I don't. It's therapy. Fuck. Therapy to an extreme. Does my brother go to therapy? I don't think he does. He definitely needs it. Ooh. Garfield? Wood. Okay. Why do I get scared so fucking easily? Okay. That's fine. It's... No, I won't laugh. I can't. Oh. Naruto fan, please go away. Please, oh, you fuck. If he does, it isn't working enough. Guys, fling. Who? Garfield! Bro. Nightbot, I thought I fucking banned you! Go away! Why are you? No, that didn't work. Ignore that. Fuck. Go away. Why are you still here? There we go. Never mind, I did it. Top 2 in last game were reaching heart. What does that mean? What? No, you're just a sore fucking loser. And you don't want to admit the fact. It's okay. Ariamali band Nightbot is in my mod chat. It's fine. Lovejoy. Lovely. I just choked on my drink. My Jesus fucking Christ. One was an e-boy and the other. Okay. There was also a legit fly hacker last game. Oh, it's the same guy. Watton is Watan. Fuck you, I'm playing Skywars. I used to main Skywars, and I was great at it. This frick. What? It's not... You were great at it? Maybe? I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I say I'm great at a lot of things, and that's straight lying through my ass. Tiger. Banana. You see, Why are you still hitting me? Oh. What if I just purposefully die now? Wait. B hopped on. Oh my god, you are such a sore loser. Oh, it's okay. Quinobi blew up too. Obi-Wan. Oh. No! Go away! Why? Swed. It's Obi-Wan. Oh, hey, what's up? Obi-Wan found a simp. Oh. I didn't even get punched on my screen, I just glitched over. That was great. Sushi game. Why are you just accepting the TNT? Don't you dare. Hello? Why is there TV inside of me? I don't know how to feel about that. You just... Okay. I'm not saying anything. What did I do to you, TV man? Hmm? I just lost all sense of direction. Go away. Go. Go. Goodbye. People are merging. Oh, I'm being... Oh no, it's fine. Okay, I can make it, it's fine. Why? Okay. Wild blue. Oh. Become a superior being of evolution and become one person with several others. Can I possess your body? Hyaku. And as you type that, I'm imagining hearing it, and what I hear is a cat puking up a hairball. Hello, sir. When taken out of context, that could be wrong. What did I say? Oh, you fucker! What did I say? Oh no, what did I say? How what? Cause I don't... What did I say? Good luck, females. Winky face. What? Okay. You just had to go the block above me, didn't you? You little bitch. Memory is worse than Dory. Not a lot. I don't know half the people on my friends list anymore. Stop trying to punch me. I suddenly want to play Valorant. Ah! Instant red flag, kill it. Is it alive? It's it. Okay. Where is this person? Okay. Go away, you fucker. I went the wrong way. You're not the person I want, actually. Where is the person I want? Oh, I missed. Oh well. Not for long, it shall perish. Oh, Konomi died too. Oh god! Full on E-Dater, he had the cape and everything! Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Useless napkin. What the fuck? It's like they know. Is this song in English? Because I haven't processed a word in it. Goodbye. Sup? Bedrock Oreo blew up. L. Wait, is it? How can people tell the difference between capital I and lowercase L in like fonts? Like I have a specific font, but in other font, like in other normal fonts, like fucking Times New Roman. I only understood the word friction through the entire song. Yeah, I didn't process one word in English. That's fucking terrifying. What the god doing? What? Oh! Why did I get jump scared by that? That's sad. Why did I get jump scared by that? What is what the f- You know what? Okay. Hi. He's I don't know what's happening. It's built like a demented blueberry. What the fuck just happened? What was any of that? I'm so... Okay. Oh, there's 4 people alive. Your hit color is purple too? Probably. I don't know. Oh, that guy is teamed. Oh, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. You knocked me out of the way. Anyway. I want to do parkour all of a sudden. Did Nivak finally leave? I just realized he hasn't spoken in a while. Did we bore him enough for him to leave? Did I succeed? Ugh! Oh, it's me and the Steve. Ooh, and the anime guy! Wait, anime guy, come here. No. No, screw you. I'm targeting anime. I didn't leave. Fuck. No, go away. Actually, oh, I feel bad about that, actually. Yes, hello, Steve. Hi. I can't... Do I just die? Do I just die? A part of me wants to just die. No, but a part of me just wants to die. Like, okay. Look at him! Look at him! Look at him! Sorry. Look at him. He was just vibing in his little corner. Remove view bobbing? Why? What's wrong with my bobby bob? What's wrong with my view bobbing? I'd say do it, the Steve is nice. Is that a baby wearing a chain? Did I just watch a baby wear a chain? Okay. No, you little... I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I didn't say the word, so it's fine. It's okay. Stream pet Steve. What was that? Wait, is that the Steve? No. You know what my favorite thing to do in My favorite thing to do in TNT tag is punch people, like, literally, like, not having TNT. Just go up to people who are just chilling in a corner. Like, wait. Like this. No. Punch, and then pretend you didn't do it. It only works if it's people that are staying in the same place. The panic is great. What? Yeah, like this. You go, bonk, and then just look away. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Wasn't me. Oh. They just walked. They both just walked right past me. They're like... I feel like I should be moving out of this area. But I find it more funny to just stand here. I'm being punched, but not by... It's punched, but not by people with TNT. Oh. Yeah, like that! Like that! You just punch and then look away like you didn't do it. What? Like, you just walk up, go. Wasn't me. My favorite is when they go along with you. Wasn't me. She's not going along with it though. Is it, what's the main character's name? Kikigoryo? Ooh, wait, can I jump there? Wait. I saved myself. Suffer meow, why? Wait, does he not? Wait. He doesn't have knockback. Okay, wait. Oh, baby. Oh. I genuinely didn't mean to. It's. Oh, I didn't. Yumiko. Oh. Hey, I wasn't paying attention. That's not fair. Okay, anyway. Yumiko. Is it? It is. It is. I was right. Okay. I forgot her name. This is entertaining on a whole new level. You're welcome. That's it. Just, you're welcome. I'm very sleep deprived. How much did I sleep last night? I don't know. Yumiko. What's the other one's name? The blonde? Marie? Starts with an M. I know that much. Kwanobi. I remember random stuff all the time. One who took you away from me. You hit it off instantly. I know cause you won't stop telling me. See his jaw and his shoulders, the muscles push against his fashions. Why are you shushing me? What did I do to you? Oh, you didn't shush me. New comfort streamer unlocked. Oh my god. That's it. That. Okay, sorry. I Mary, I'm pretty sure. But I was gonna be like, oh my god, I've succeeded in life. And then Quinofi just fucking. I just fucking snorted. Okay, I. Oh my Jesus. What the fuck is that? Perfect timing. Oh. Wait. Oh. What the? Oh wait. Oh, I can't click. Oh. Oh. Is this the train thing? Oh my goodness. Hype train. Fuck yeah. I'm going to stop at like, it's 11:34 right now. I have work in the morning. I'll stop before midnight. I don't know when, but and homework. No, that's fine. That's fine. Ooh. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'll stop streaming before midnight. 22 available, Jesus Christ, I'm not doing that. I choose you. Okay, Mr. Show Off. Go to sleep. It's fine, dude. I'm just have an energy drink for breakfast and I'm set. I'm good to go. Ooh, wait. The I think I just had a fucking seizure. Fuck. Game bad, goodbye. Someone rage quit. What was I saying? Parkour duels. Parkour duels. Whatever came out of my mouth wasn't what I meant to say. I meant parkour duel. I don't know what language they're speaking. Ooh. With people? Sweet. Can I turn people off? Oh my god, I can. Oh. I don't care. I was just like, oh cool, we're doing it with people because you usually start, private games. That sounds amazing though. What sounds amazing? Chaos. I'm blue. Even though there's no teams on that. Who needs a language? Only gibberish. I was saying something, and I forgot. Oh, I can't use free look to show my derp! Oh, that is depressing. Ugh. Hi. Use invent. Oh, wait. Only slightly. You can't really. Oh, why did you give us jump boost? Why would you do that? Why? Oh, never mind. Oh. 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 Wait, where am I going? Checkpoint 1. How do I get up there? Okay. This is, oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. I almost had it. Who needs language? Fun fact, Carly, the person who I've been talking to about fucking Wattpad stories, we made up a language when we were kids. We would pretend, like, we wouldn't talk in it. Like, there was no coherent words that we were saying to each other. It was literally just speaking gibberish. And then convincing people we made up our own language and conversed in it. Okay. This is going great so far. Oh my, I'm struggling. Oh, I could have just done this. Oh well. Yeah, we were great children. This is a new one. Wait, is it a new one? Wait. Wait. Hell yeah. I'm so smart. I'm pretty sure you did the exact same thing, actually. That's fine. I wanted to be able to do it, because you failed it, but then I didn't do it. Where? What just happened? What? Where am- Oh, I went backwards. That's what happened. Oh. Fuck. I can make that. Yeah. Oh, I can't make that though. I would be doing great at this if I didn't have jump boost. Okay. Okay. As several people in my life have said, you're on the struggle bus. That's fucking accurate. Small talk. Ugh, finally. Did you finish already? Were you talking to Poof earlier? When? You gotta be more specific than just saying earlier. The book thing. Yeah, that was Poof. Carly. Oh, no! Wait, where do you go though? Sorry. Sorry. Oh, you have to get that freaking checkpoint. 18. Suck. I can't. Ha. Fuck. I keep attempting to save myself, but then just making a fool of myself. Oh! A player has the fails are glorious. Thank you. I thought I fell in the one block gap, and I was gonna... I was gonna be very upset. Can we do it without jump boost now? Is that an option? Ooh. We gotta be so talkative. I talk too much. We talk too much. Imagine this running towards you at night. A Minecraft player doing the Carlton. I think I'm at -9 on my... Oh. That's not good. You okay? I just used my boost by accident. Why did I just do that? Why did I just did it again? Okay. Actually, I kind of want jump boost back, because apparently it was helping me. Are we racing? Or just parkouring? Okay. Maybe? Okay. I'll take that as a yes, we are racing. Okay. I'm having a great time. That is such a random fucking question. Where did that come from? Wait, is there a checkpoint up there? Okay, no. I missed. Okay. No, I don't. But where did that question even come from? Like, you know what? Okay. I don't know. I'm curious. Curiosity killed the cat, and then something brought it back. I always forget the thing that brought it back, but something brought it back. I know that. Oh, why am I suffering? Okay. I meant to... I... Wow, would you look at that? Oh my god. Are you attracted by your friends? What does that mean? Okay. Curious George brought the cat back to life. You know what? I don't even care if that's wrong. I like that interpretation better. Curiosity killed the cat, but Curious George brought it back. Boop, boop. Okay. Yep, so says I. Can I skip this? Oh, again. Oh, I hate ladder parkour. Oh, this is fine. This is I'm I can't even type easy. Oh, ha ta ta. Ah. Ta 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 ta. Oh. It's okay. I'm done the ladder parkour. Everything's fine now. Are you finished? Okay. I'm yes. 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 That's it? Yes. If I continue to say yes, will I? Yes. Ah. What the fuck was that? I didn't even know I could make that noise. What the fuck was that? What the fuck? Okay. Anyways. No, I'm not doing it again. Ah, okay. I didn't hear. I don't think I could recreate it even if I wanted to. Ooh. What was that? I don't know. Fuck. You know what? This is... I'm okay. It's fine. I'm incredibly calm. I'm so incredibly calm that people even... that I'm even used as an example to help people with anger issues. I'm so incredibly calm. I know, no, I will not look up. I'm so excited for ladders. I love ladders. No, I'm calm. I'm so incredibly calm. I am at peace. I could meditate right now if I wanted to. I'm so at peace. And so I'm fuck. I'm calm. Calm. C-A-L-M. Calm. Calm. I love ladders so much. What the fuck? Why did you get kicked? Oh, ba, ta ta ta. Ta. It's okay. Everything's just right. I'm down. Right. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, ha 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 ha. Ooh. Hoo 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 hoo. Fuck. It's okay. It's. I would have been so angry if I messed that up. I don't think you understand how angry I would have been. Oh, would you? I'm. I did it. calm. Calm. Is there a meditation playlist? Is that a thing? I'm looking that up. Meditation. Healing sounds. Yes. This is perfect. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is Did you not mean to do a... I just jumped back down. Did you mean to do a private game? Oh, you just left completely. My game is frozen. You're gone. We watched the fall of humanity and you still came out. I'm... How did I get here? What happened? I'm calm. Okay. Calm. Meditation. Healing. Soothing. Wait, are there podcasts? We're gonna do this one. Who did that? Oh my god. No, no. Stop it. Stop. It's fine. You. Look. Yep. Why the large intestine? Where did the large intestine come from? Yes, the earth. Beauty. I'm already doing that. I always play crisscross. Ow. Why did I do that? It's fine. Calm. Ma'am, I have ADHD. Sitting still is not... I'm gonna... Flesh? Did she just ask me to skin myself? I don't think this is a very healing meditation. If she just asked me to skin myself. Yes. Fun fact. Okay. My eyes are not okay. Yippity. Yip. I'm feeling many sensations right now. I am regretting that sentence. I take it back. I don't feel any sensations. I'm numb. Fuck. It's fine. See? That's what the boost is for. Why are we in my spine? How did we get to my spine? I don't want my lower body to be heavy. Why? You know, this... What? Let's listen to this. Yeah. This is... Ow, that hurts my ears, actually. I don't want that. Let's not do that. You know what's funny? The fact that, the music I'm playing right now is completely cut out of VODs and clips. So... they don't... that's it. That's it. That. Woo! Would you look at that? Oh my goodness, I was one block off? Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm so glad I suggested parkour. This was an amazing... amazing choice on my part. Ah. It's not your birthday anymore. Oh, is it midnight for you now? It is midnight, and I said I was gonna stop talking. I don't... Meditation. Calm. Ah. You got it. You, okay. I'm doing fan-fucking-tastic. Thank you for asking. Haha, whoop-de-doo. I'm Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for parkour. It is my favorite thing to do in my spare time. I especially love ladders. They're my favorite. It's... Oh. Why is it only showing your checkpoints? Why? 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 Aha! Ha! Ha! Okay. I love ladders. I love ladders. I love parkour. I love it so much. I do parkour in my spare time. Ladders, would you... You did not. You didn't... You did... You... I... Did you just... Okay. Ladders. They're so lovely. Oh! 7. Ladders. Ladders. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. The medicine go down. Yes, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. Bonk. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Sticking my dick in rotisserie chicken. The most fabulous reindeer of all. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, You would even say it glow. And all of the other oh, reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They they never let poor Rudolph join any reindeer games. Ha 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 ha. I love Minecraft. Did you just call me a donut? Attention deficit donut? I funny. Ooh, haha, hilarious. Wait, it's okay. I'm now.